Alright guys, hey, what's up? This is John from Magic Tech Review. Back at it again here with the CES, a little bit more CES phones. First recording I did on the Bandicam didn't come out, or at least I didn't have the microphone turned on. It was a new mistake, sorry about that. And thank you guys for all the support you've been giving me lately. Let's try to shoot for 50 likes if we can on this video. You guys have been doing a great job of supporting me, like I said, starting off this year. Very good, very strong. So I've seen a lot of phones at CES, or I've been watching the videos and stuff like that, as you have, I'm sure. And I've been looking at some phones that, you know, they just did a spec update or bump. You know, they haven't really, did too much with the phones this year. So, like I said, let's take a look here. Asus Zenfone 3 Zoom cuts back on the camera and beefs up the battery. So, the battery is a 5,000 milliamp battery. I do like the design here. With the antenna lines coming across there on the top and the back. You got the Asus call out right there. You got the fingerprint sensor. You got the dual LED flash, or two-tone flash it looks like, and you got the 2 cameras set up. So let's see here. Asus has unveiled the Zenfone 3. Shout out to The Verge, of course. I'm using their article here. Successor to the Zenfone Zoom that retains the original standout feature. Let's see here, the most interesting of 5,000 milliamp battery, squeezed into a case that's actually 3 millimeters slimmer than the original, so they're making the phone slimmer again. Let's see here. Asus claims that the battery life is so good that you can double as a power bank to charge your other devices, which I wouldn't use. I would just use my phone, but we'll see. Let's see, the camera original has a 3 optical zoom. This one makes do with 2.3. I don't really zoom into my phones. I don't really use the dual camera setup, to be honest guys. I don't really do a lot of that bokeh effect and all that, so I don't know why they're heavily focusing on that stuff, but anyways. The other lens is a 12 megapixel wide angle lens with a f.17 aperture. Let's see. Yeah, depth of field bokeh, blurs the background. Okay, so that's a nice front shot of the phone right there. Also kind of weird to me that I saw these keys right here. They kind of look like the older style with the back, home, and the reset button. But anyway, I guess that's just me. I thought it was supposed to be like a circle and an arrow. From specs alone, it says we're not excited about the Zenfone. Let's see what else we can see here. The new Zoom though does at least add support for 4K video. That's nice. A feature notably absent from the original. Other specs are similar to the Zenfone 3 announced, including a 5.5-inch display screen, 1080p, 625 processor, and then they haven't set a price yet on this thing. So yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at the next phone I got here. I'm going to talk about 3 phones basically, or 3 brand names. Talking about the BlackBerry Mercury here. So BlackBerry came out with another phone, swinging, trying to grab some customer base there. It's a promising Android phone, looks like. So they're using Android Nougat on here. They got the physical keyboard as well, and then you have your BBM apps, BBM chat, Peek, stuff like that. I just don't think that BlackBerry is going to be, a big name anymore, really. BlackBerry kicked its own BlackBerry operating system to the curb last year in favor of the more popular Android OS, and no longer manufactures its own phones. BlackBerry has partnered with TCL to release Android phones under the BlackBerry brand name. So yeah, it's not even really BlackBerry per se, like their manufacturing plants and all that stuff, which are rebranded Alcatel phones. So yeah, basically Alcatel is kind of providing the horsepower for this company now. So let's see here. The same applies for the Mercury, though instead of targeting the budget and mid-range line, the new device will pit itself against flagship devices like Apple's iPhone 7, Samsung Galaxy S7, and Google Pixel. Okay, so they haven't released a price or release date. I don't know. I don't think they should go that route. I think they should go the mid-range route and the budget friendly route, because you know people that are going to buy their flagship phones every year, you know, your Samsungs, your HTCs, your Windows, or your iPhones, they pretty much know what they're going to get. You know what I'm saying? You have to really wow somebody to get that in, and then they're higher price, so you can only buy one at a time. Unlike a budget phone, you know, 50, 60, 100 bucks, you might get consumers that buy phones every 3 months, or you know, break their phones and go out and buy new phones. So for all you hardcore BlackBerry fans, the Mercury has a QWERTY keyboard with capacitive gesture-based capabilities akin to the physical keyboard on the Priv. So let me know, guys, if you've used Blackberries before, you liked them, you hated them. I've used personally I've used the Pearl, the Curve. I can't remember any other ones at the moment. So, but there you go. There's a look at it. You got the brushed aluminum siding there. You got the camera, and there's your keyboard, QWERTY keyboard there, which they won't let die. Let me know, guys, if you like QWERTY keyboards. Then you got your micro USB Type-C charger with the downward facing speakers there. I like that part. Just don't know how far this phone is going to go really, or how well it's going to sell, but I don't know. It's smaller than a 5.5 inch phone such as the Google Pixel, and the screen is even smaller, says. And it's fairly chunky, has a soft touch back feel that seems a little cheap for a flagship phone. It's basically the Mercury carries the same convenience key that's available on DTE K50 and 60. It's basically a customizable hotkey. Power button was on the left, and volume rocker on the right, set above the convenience key. Alright, to be clear, the Mercury is a joint venture from BlackBerry and TCL, and the hardware aren't final. Alright, so there's a better look there at the front with the screen turned on. So it's going to look like it's going to be a pretty small screen, probably 4.5 inch, I believe it said in here. Let's see here. The device Maypack, it says Maypack, a Snapdragon 821, 4.5 inch display screen, and a resolution of 1680 by 1080, so 1080p. But like I said, it's not, or like they said, it's not finalized yet. So alright, so let's take a look at the Samsung Galaxy A lines. So Samsung Galaxy A5, A3, and then the A7. Let's see here. Alright, so there you go. So we're gonna take a look here at specs and stuff like that. Samsung continues to blur the line between mid-range and flagship. The A3, A5, and A7 announced the week of CES 17. The new versions have the same curved metal design and glass back of the Galaxy S7. The three phones are dust and water resistant with IP68 rating, so that's really cool as well. Screen size is the obvious difference between the three phones. I want to see these phones come to prepaid markets such as Cricket, Boost, Metro, Straight Talk, Family Mobile, all that stuff. The A3 has a 4.7 inch display screen at 720p. The A5 has a 5.2 inch at 1080p screen, and the A7 has a 5.7 inch 1080p screen. So thumb stretching, not really. A closer look at the phones reveals a USB Type-C charging port rather than the micro USB. Alright, cool. Micro USB-C. I don't know why LG chose to just use micro USB, regular micro USB. Kind of weird to me. So glad that these other companies are looking at USB-C type charging for the future. The design is premium, but what about the internal components? Inside the A5 and A7 you'll find an octa-core 1.9 GHz processor, while the smaller, the A3 slow speed lowers to 1.6, which is also still respectable. By comparison, last year's Galaxy S5 had a 2.3 GHz processor. Alright then, and then each phone, now this is what I really like right here. Each phone has a 32 GB of internal storage with a micro SD card slot. So when it comes to cameras, we don't know much other than the megapixel count. It says 13 on the A3, 16 on the A5 and A7. But the front-facing this is what kind of caught me off guard about this article too. But the front-facing camera has a neat trick. You can press anywhere on the screen to take a selfie, which makes taking selfie shots one-handed much simpler. Okay, I didn't know there was that big of a deal. But anyways, so the phones will be available at the end of January. So there you go. We won't have much to wait. Hopefully we'll get some announcements from the 3 or 4 prepaid markets. This is John from Magic Tech Review. Thank you for joining me in this video. Like I said, leave a thumbs up, and let's go ahead and yeah, shoot for like I said, about 50 likes. So peace out, guys. Thanks for watching.